Hi guys! Today I want to talk about how I became a Christian. I was born and raised in South Korea. None of my family members went to church when I was young. I'm in my 30s now and I'd been in a church maybe 2 or 3 times before I started to believe in God. So my story goes back to when I was struggling getting pregnant. I was engaged to my husband and I went to see my gynecologist for a regular checkup. Unfortunately, I was told that it might be difficult for me to get pregnant because I had polycystic ovarian syndrome and 4 big fibroids in my uterus. My doctor advised me to try having a baby as soon as I could if I wanted to have a child. So even though my husband and I were not married yet, I stopped taking birth control and we stopped using protection. But I didn't get pregnant until after 6 months, and by that time we were married. I was getting frustrated and more desperate because I'd always wanted to have a child and was afraid I was not going to have one. About a month after we got married, one of my clients asked me to translate a sermon from English to Korean for him. Despite the fact that I do a lot of translations and interpretation, it was actually a little difficult to understand the context because I wasn't familiar with the Bible. But then I remembered something. Right before this, another client told me about how great it is to be a Christian and to know God. She was one of the most inspirational and kind people I've ever met in my life. She was so nice and warm that I even thought it would be great to have a mother like her. For the whole time we were traveling, she didn't stop talking about how good God is. It usually bothers me if somebody tries to persuade me to become a Christian, but it was different this time. She made me think about God and how it would be to believe in Him. So at that moment, when I was translating the sermon for my client, I prayed for the first time in my life to God and asked Him to help me get pregnant. I told Him I would make an effort to get to know Him by reading the Bible and going to church if I got pregnant before I had my period that month. And guess what? I found out that I was pregnant 1 week after that. So because I always keep my promises, I did make an effort to know God. I asked the client to introduce me to someone to help me study the Bible and lead me to a good church. The lady he introduced me to turned out to be one of the kindest people I've met. We became dear friends. Let's say her name is Sarah. I actually had an unspeakable difficult time being pregnant for 9 months. I was in hospital 4 times and couldn't even drink water for almost 4 months. I had to rely on the IV at the hospital to survive. It was a terrible time to go through. I was originally going to meet Sarah after she came back from a holiday, but I had to postpone the meeting because by the time she came back, I was in hospital. But then she offered to visit me during my stay, and it was really surprising to me that someone you've never met before would visit you in hospital. But anyway, she did. She came with a small gift and a letter saying she hoped I would get better soon. I was so touched that I started to wonder more. Who is God and who is His Son that makes me feel so loved? So when I got better, I started to go to the church she was attending and I joined the Bible group as well. There are a few more experiences where God showed me His existence, but I'll save it for the next video. As a former non-believer, I want to reach out as many people as I can to deliver His great love. There are so many more stories that I want to tell, but I will stop here and make you wait for the next time. If you liked my video today, please leave a comment below, subscribe to my channel, and wait for the next video. Thank you for watching and may God be with you.